Hello, everybody, and welcome to Theology 101. Today we are going to talk about Satan and demons. To understand Satan and demons, we need to understand angels. Why? Because Satan and demons were originally angels. Did you know that? Demons are angels that God had judged, and Satan is the chief angel who is now the ruler of the demons. Let's jump in to find out more. Now we know that angels were created by God. They were most likely created at Genesis chapter 1 verse 1, since the heavens were created at this time. But we know that angels were definitely created by the sixth day of creation, when God said that all of creation was good. So we see that God originally created angels to be good. However, some of them rebelled against God and became demons. In other words, demons are fallen angels. We see a couple passages that teach this. And the angels who did not stay within their own position of authority, but left their proper dwelling, he has kept in eternal chains under gloomy darkness until the judgment of the great day. The Apostle Peter repeats that some angels were judged and became demons. For if God did not spare angels when they sinned, but cast them into hell and committed them to chains of gloomy darkness to be kept until the judgment. Now there is a debate on when angels fell. Some Christians who believe in the gap theory argue that angels fell between Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 and Genesis chapter 1 verse 2. The gap theory believes that there was a gap of millions of years between Genesis 1:1 and Genesis 1:2, which is when God's first creation occurs. During this first creation, the death of animals and plants happened after the fall of Satan and demons. However, other Christians believe that angels fell after God completed all of his creative acts. According to this view, Satan and demons fell after Genesis 1:31, but before Satan appeared as a serpent to Eve. Regardless of when angels fell, what we do know is that Satan and demons were originally created as angels. This explains why we see several traits the demons share with angels. Demons are intelligent, emotional, and are spiritual beings without a body. Demons are also very powerful like angels. One story tells us that 7 sons of a Jewish priest were trying to cast out demons from a man. But the demons said this, "Jesus I know, and Paul I recognize, but who are you?" Then this demon-possessed man jumped on these 7 Jewish priests and overpowered them until they fled the house naked and wounded. Since demons, like angels, were created by God, this also explains why demons obeyed Jesus even when they didn't want to, because they recognized Jesus as having authority over them as their creator. But there are different traits that demons have from angels. Demons are evil, hurtful to whoever they possess, and deceitful. Now, the differences we see between angels and demons has to do with the different purposes that they have. Angels serve God and do whatever he commands, while demons advance Satan's purposes. Part of advancing Satan's agenda includes promoting idol worship. And to get people to worship idols, demons promote false teachings against God. This explains why the Apostle Paul attributes idolatry and false teaching to the influence of demons. No, I imply that what pagans sacrifice, they offer to demons and not to God. I do not want you to be participants with demons. Another way demons influence people to worship idols is by empowering people to perform false signs or miracles. Did you know that demons can perform miracles? Remember the time when Moses and Aaron approached Pharaoh and told him to let Israel go? Pharaoh asked them to prove themselves by performing a miracle. So Aaron drops his staff and it turned into a snake. Pharaoh then brought out his sorcerers and magicians and they were able to do the same thing. But Aaron's snake swallowed up their snakes. Now you might be wondering, how did the Egyptian magicians turn a staff into a snake just like Aaron? Well, they did not perform their miracles by the power of God, but by the power of demons. So if demons are fallen angels, then who is Satan? Satan was originally created as an angel, which means that he is also a demon. It seems that Satan's name, before he was judged, was Lucifer. Specifically, we see that Satan was created as a cherub, which was the highest created angel. However, Lucifer became arrogant in his beauty and status and wanted to sit on God's throne. It was Satan's pride that led to his fall. Because of his sin, God permanently removed Satan from his position and role, along with all the other angels who followed him. After Satan fell, God allowed him to have power and influence over the world. This is why Satan is called the ruler of this world. Even though he was cast out of heaven, he still seeks to elevate himself on God's throne. Therefore, he counterfeits everything that God does, hoping to deceive as many people as possible to follow him instead of God. In fact, Satan is almost successful in convincing people to worship him by empowering the Antichrist. However, we see Satan's final destination when God casts him into the lake of fire along with the other demons and unbelievers. Now, I want to mention that the word Satan is not a name, but a title given to this demon. The word Satan literally means adversary. And we see several names appear throughout the Bible that refers to the same demon. He is called the accuser, the father of lies, the originator of sin, the ruler of demons, the devil, the tempter, Beelzebub, Belial, and the great dragon. Why is this important to know? Because knowing that Satan is a fallen angel means that we should not view Satan as an equal counterpart to God. I think we often picture God and Satan being on different sides and fighting it out, and we are just hoping that God will win. But Satan is not another God. He is a fallen angel created by God. Just as ludicrous it would be for a human being to think that he is powerful enough to fight God, so also it is ridiculous to think that Satan, who is just a demon, can overthrow God's authority, because God is the creator of all angels, including Satan. So as powerful as Satan is, he was created by God, and everything God creates must submit to his will. If you want to study more about the topic of demons, I'll leave a link to a recommended book below in the description box. If you missed the last video where we talked about how Jesus is the angel of the Lord, I'll leave a link for you here to watch. Until next time, see you!